Hey folks, welcome back to Only Best Fancy Novels. My name is Robin, and today I want to talk about Grand Conspiracy by Janny Wurts, the fifth book in the Wars of Light and Shadow. And each book in this series has just gotten progressively more intense, and this book is no exception. The dimensions of the conflict between these two have they get drastically altered in this one. So what happens in it? Lorenda's plan to capture Arathon and resume her place as successor to the Coriani Prime is now in motion, but she's not the only one with a plan in the offing. The Fellowship senses a storm on the horizon, and all they can really do is hope for the best and plan for the worst. And even as all of this is happening, Arathon's self-imposed exile begins to draw to a close, as he's forced into action, which is exactly what his enemies may want. So that's kind of the gist of what you can expect in this story, and it's a bang of an installment, to put it mildly. Like I said, each book in this series has just got more and more intense, and this one, like I also mentioned in my video of Fugitive Prince, like in that book, it felt like the conflict, it became more ideological, it became more strategic as compared to like a straightforward militaristic conflict, and we see that in this book. Like the title says, the Grand Conspiracy. This book is all about chess moves and political intrigue and schemes in the offing and all of that. Like that it was fun to read, like really fun to read as a result of all of that. We get we get just like this complex interweaving of threads and stories, because everyone has a finger in the pie, everyone has their own agenda, and everyone is up to some extremely they're all making extremely potent moves that will absolutely conflict with each other. So it was just incredible to read, to put it lightly. At this point, I don't think I'm going to even bother talking about Janny Wurts' prose and characterization and all of that, because like that's standard for her. What I do want to call attention to is just the sheer creativity and imagination that she has in here. Like, this book, with no exaggeration, has probably the wildest mage battle I've ever read in any fantasy story, ever. Like, just wrapping my mind around what was being done in that battle was insane. Anyway, so imagination, creativity, and things like that, to the story, the way it's executed, everything is just on point. Like, this book is written almost in two parts. There's a huge in-world time skip in the middle. So what happens is the first portion before the time skip is very much a setting of the stage, crafting of plans and these kind of things, where the seeds are sown essentially for everyone to get up to their conspiracies and that kind of thing. The second book is where the second part of the book, I should say, after the in-world time skip, when plots have gotten enough time to fester and people have gotten enough time to become the person that they need to be for the sake of the intrigue that's in the offing. Like that part of the book after the time skip is all bang for buck. Like multiple threads come to fruition. Magic plays a big part in that section of the book, and like I said, in terms of creativity, in terms of imagination, what happens in that latter half of the book is like nothing we've seen in the series to date. It's almost like after that time skip, we have almost like a rolling climax that never relents. It doesn't relent until the very end of the book. I couldn't wait. I already had to dive straight into Peril's Gate, the next book after this one, and I can say that I barely just started that one, but it absolutely continues rolling in that book. Like, it's just wild. So there's that. All that being said, like, this is very much a book where like lines get crossed, relationships become warped and tested, and new players in this whole conspiracy in this whole chess game get they enter the fray, and there's no telling where things are going to fall when this is done. Like we see Arthur's core belief challenged in a way it hasn't been challenged before. We see Lorinda's pride and greed drive her to make choices that, given the nature of the Koreani order and the work that they ostensibly do, it really makes you wonder how she can justify what she does. What she does, like the highly questionable convolutions she goes through just to justify what she does, as for the greater good, you can say, in the story. And we get to see like something that hasn't really come up since, I think, maybe Ships of Mirror, which is just the nature of Arthur and Illyria's relationship, especially after so much time has passed. All separated. And of course, the big one is that we get the grand design of Moriel Prime. We finally see what she's been cooking all this time. And holy crap, is all I'm going to say about that. I did mention new players enter the fray, which obviously means that some do have to shuffle off the stage. So brace yourself for that. But this book, man, like justice, morality, pride, fate, free will, agency, destiny, all these things, like internal biases, these are all threads that Janny just kind of pulls on and plays with in these conspiracies and in these schemes and these intrigues that she sets up. Like she weaves these things into the story in different ways to drive the characters, to play with them, to put them in positions, to contort them into just these fun shapes. Well, fun for us, the reader, to see what happens with this story, but not necessarily with them. Like, it was just incredible. It was an incredible journey. And like I said, by the end of it, I couldn't help it. I just had to dive straight into the next book. I can absolutely see why this is considered like a mini arc within the series, because this is very much its own kind of story that just keeps rolling. That being said, the story does end at a very natural stopping point. So if you finish this one and you have to wait before you go into Peril's Gate, have no fear. If you're going to have the patience to do that after you read the way that this ends, like, that's a whole different conversation. But yeah, I think that's pretty much all I have to say about Grand Conspiracy. I'm going to call it here so I can go continue reading Peril's Gate. You guys just need to jump on this bandwagon, okay? Like, I know everyone on BookTube is talking about this series, and people are hesitant about it because it's the next big thing being lauded by booktubers and whatever, but there's a reason for that, okay? It's wild. It's really wild. Yeah, I think that's all I have to say about Grand Conspiracy. If you've made it this far into the video, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you next time.